More often than not, almost any palette I feel like that I've picked up within the last year, especially when it comes to indie brands, have all been great quality. So when it comes to ranking them, sometimes it can be a little difficult. But because they're like all good, it just depends on like your preferences of formula and your color choices and all of those things. But there are those times when you get a palette and you just feel so excited, so overwhelmed with joy. It's like a baby when they see something, like when their parent comes home and they like shake their little arms and they get so excited. Well, that's what today's video is about. It's about palettes that make you so excited. You see so many different color stories. You feel so inspired that you just fall in love. They are like the top palettes. When someone asks me what my favorite palette is, I can't give a fair answer because it changes from, you know, what mood I'm in and all of those things. It's like art. You know, sometimes an artist will paint something bright and beautiful and cheery, but the next week they may paint something dark. And, you know, art, like, it flows. And you kind of just go with the flow. And for me, that is what eyeshadow is about. I want to play with a palette that makes me feel excited and inspired to do my makeup. When I'm, you know, when you're doing your eyeshadow and you have this look pictured in your mind, and then you slowly start to see it come together, and then you could see the finished look and you get so excited you just can't wait for it to be finished. That's what these palettes give me, and I tried my best to narrow it down. I got it under 35, but I am so excited to show them to you. If this is your first time here, hi, my name is Heather. I love all things makeup, especially colorful makeup and indie brands. And if you guys love those things too, I really hope you will subscribe. And don't forget to click the little bell so you can be notified of all my future uploads. Listen, I love indie brands. I have an obsession with indie eyeshadow palettes. I have my favorite brands. I have like 6 or 7 brands that are my absolute favorite. I would consider them all number ones. I mean, I know it doesn't work that way, but it's hard for me to like choose between them because they all just blow my mind. And you will see a lot of repeats in this video because these are some of my top favorite brands, and all of these palettes that I'm going to talk about today, I truly could not recommend more. They are palettes that excite me in a way that is so hard to describe. But if you're an eyeshadow lover too, I think you get it. So we're going to dive in. I'm going to start, why not start with Cosmic Brushes? I mean, I freaking love this brand. Every palette they have just blows my mind. And it was hard for me not to put like almost all of them in here because so many of them are good, but I made myself choose my absolute favorites from each brand. So my first favorite is Serenity. I love this palette so much. It's so inspiring. I see so many different pairings, combos, like these two mattes together. I am a sucker for two-tone looks. I mean, I have one on today, which we will be talking about this palette. It's an honorable mention, but we'll be talking about it in just a moment. But I love two-tone looks so much. So when I look at a palette, I like to see the most odd color combos, like the things that are so unexpected. And then the fun part is finding a way to make them look beautiful on the eye. I just love that. So for me, like these two colors are really beautiful, or even the greens with the pop of blue in the inner corner. These two shades are beautiful. You just have to find like that perfect shimmer to really pair them with that really just makes it pop. And this palette is so scattered. I love it, a scattered color story. It really gets them creative neurons flowing through my brain, and it makes me so happy. So these two came out not too long ago. It was the release before last, which I love the last one too, but these four are my favorite. So First we have the Cool Trolls. I love this palette. I swear I thought I hated cool tones. I must call them Cool Trolls. But this year has taught me that I actually like cool tones more. And I've fallen so in love with this palette. Like so many of these palettes, when I got them, I like to swatch my palettes out fully on my arm. I do my like video swatches first, because when I swatch them, seeing the match with the shimmers, it helps me really like get creative and it pick out those fun combos. So when I swatched this palette out, I couldn't pick. Like, I was so overwhelmed by so many different ideas that I couldn't decide the best one. And it happens to me often with a lot of these brands, and we'll get to that. But this one is such a good one, and I've had so much fun with this palette. I highly recommend you checking out my video, because not to toot my own horn, I think I did a fabulous job. But I love this one, I think, even more than I do that one. It's so freaking beautiful. It's so perfect for fall time. But do you see those freaking shimmers? Like, mine's a little messy because she is used, but this was another one of those palettes. I was like overwhelmed with what I wanted to do. There's so many gorgeous pairings. It's another one that I would love to pull back out, but you guys are gonna have to let me know if you pick this one up. This is one of my top favorite brands, and I love their affordable price as well. But I think it's so beautiful. I think these are still in stock as well. And then last, for cosmic brushes, we have the Muse. The Muse is so beautiful. It's like a fairy goodness garden. This was the third palette they released, but the second one I picked up. And again, like the yellows with the purple, you wouldn't think to do it, but trust me, try it. Your mind will be blown, especially like this shade right here. If you do like the yellow in the crease with a little bit of fig throughout and do a little pop of sweet pea in the inner corner, maybe lighten it up a little bit with a white or translucent powder, and then you put this shade on the lid with this maybe in the inner corner over top of, you know, that shade, it's gonna blow your mind. It will be beautiful. These two would be beautiful together. Like, this is such a fun palette. And then here we have rosewood and filigree. So you could do filigree in the crease, deepen up with the rosewood, maybe a little bit more with fig. And then you have ambient. This is such a beautiful shade. It's got this shade as the base and then filigree as the flip. So those two would go so good together. I think I made a look with those two actually, because I was so drawn to that shade, but that purple is just truly so stunning. I love eyeshadow. I love talking about it. It just makes me so freaking excited. There's some of you that talk about your collections a lot in the comments, and let me just say, I wish you had a YouTube channel, because I would love to freaking see your collections. One of my friends that I made through this channel has an Instagram account. I'll link her down below. I've talked about her in several videos, but it's Melina. I would pay to see her collection, because I know it's massive. And when I see stuff like that, it makes me excited. I love seeing what other people have and what they think of it. It just makes me excited. And it makes me excited that I found people that love it as much as I do. Like, I truly feel like a kid on Christmas every time I play with an eyeshadow palette. Some just, you know, scratch that itch a little more. So what do we want to do next? We'll do Fantasy Cosmetica. So Fantasy Cosmetica is actually what I have on my eyes. This palette is beautiful. It is the Harvest of Souls. This is the first look I've created. So this is my honorable mention, because it is brand new to my collection. But you know that where I said like I get overwhelmed because I see so many different pairings? That's this palette. I'm dealing with that right now. It's so freaking beautiful. So today I used Poison, Ancient, a little bit of the shade, and I deepened up with some of that. And on the lid I did Obsession and Eternal with a little bit of Souls tapped in the center. But I see so many combos. I mean, an obvious one is Ambition and Sacrifice. And then Poison Undead deepened up with this shade. Maybe Immortality on the lid. Like, I could go on. Undead and Ambition would be really pretty together as well. Undead and Ancient with Eternal on the lid as well. Like, this palette is so inspiring. And that's what makes me so excited about Fantasy Cosmetica. I've fallen so in love with this brand this year. And what started that love was the Wizard palette. I love the stained glass. I want to go and pick up their older palettes. I want them so bad. But I know that's going to cost me. So I've kind of been trying to wait for a sale. But I have to have them in my collection. But I lost my freaking mind over this palette. The blues with the yellows. I know I've talked about it before in other videos, but this palette inspired me so freaking much. It even inspired Amanda, my girlfriend, when I was wearing the look. And she went and bought new blankets and sheets and changed our whole bedding into this yellow and blue color combo. And I loved it. I just think this is beautiful. You have different formulas in here. This hollow chrome, oh, it's so good. It makes me like lose my freaking mind. I don't know why I was putting that on my wrist. Let's put it on the hand so you guys can see it. It's so beautiful. It shifts from like a purple to blue, but it also has those really gorgeous hollows in here. Let me see if I can get them to pick up. You can kind of see them there, but in person, it's so stunning, and I'm so in love. I'm so in love with this brand. I'm excited. Like, when I pull these out, I feel excited to see what else they're coming out with, and that's one of my favorite things about the makeup. It's not just about, like, the playing with it and creating with it, but the anticipation is so exciting to me. Another brand that I'm really excited for, this was my first time trying them, and it was Artitude Cosmetics. I want to get the other two releases, but my looks that I created with this were so freaking good, and I don't toot my own horn easily, but this palette is so good. I loved it so much. The shimmers are so beautiful. Like, these multi-chromes are so smooth and metallic and just so beautiful. Please overlook my nails. They need to be redone, which is happening Friday, but look at that. It's so freaking stunning. It gets me so excited. Oh, I just love them so much. But I'm excited to see what else they come out with. I know they came out with two other palettes, like, that were the same shape and stuff as this one, and I want it really, really bad. It's so beautiful. I know I spoke to the owner, and they actually said they were going to do a restock. So it's supposed to happen early in 2025. So fingers crossed I can get my hands on it. But next, we're going to talk about Nomad Cosmetics. I could have pulled out 50 palettes. Not really, I don't have that many. But there are quite a few from them, like Royal Europe. I really, really love. The new Chicago palette, I think, is fabulous. The Ireland palette is really beautiful too. But my favorite palette that they have released that I own is definitely this one. This color story is so freaking incredible. I love the gray in this palette. The gray with the purple. This shade right here, oh my god, it's like a iridescent pink with a gray like undertone. It's so freaking beautiful. But to put like that gray in the crease with the pink, oh, it's so stunning. Like, I would do the gray in the inner corner, and usually that goes against my rule. Like, I always try to put the lighter color in the inner corner and the deeper on the outer corner, and grays typically don't do well inner corner for me because I do have dark circles under my eyes. But for this palette, definitely put the gray in the inner corner and then do the pink in the outer corner. You can try to deepen it up as much as you can, even use a little bit of this black, and then do Southern Cross on the lid. Like, come on. This looks like a hollow as well, but I don't remember for sure. I think it is, though. but it's so beautiful. Like, you can do that on the back half of the lid, and then do that gray pink iridescent on the front part. Oh, it's so good. But this is one of those palettes. I just look at it and I see so many freaking options. You could even do those easy one and done types of looks with this palette. It's just freaking stunning. And I think it could carry you through a lot of seasons, depending on how you like pair colors and stuff together. If you are even the type of person that does makeup by seasons. I know me personally, I just do whatever I feel like doing. So next, we got to talk about Odin's Eye. I have 4 palettes here that I have to mention. I wanted to put Hella in here because I love it a lot. But the reason I love it, well, for one, I think she picked really great tones in that palette. But I loved the swampy green and pink combo. But I didn't feel like overwhelmed with excitement to create a bunch of different looks when I saw it. I felt overwhelmed with excitement because I realized how great of a pairing that was, if that makes sense. So that is why I picked these 4. But in all fairness, I did have to mention the 2 Halloween ones from Angelica. These were on sale for like 40% off, and they might be still. I'll link it down below. So if you guys are interested, I would definitely snag that. But this was another one of those palettes that excited me so much. I just felt so inspired by, I know the first time I looked at it, I saw this combo out here, but I've had so much fun with this one. You could do Jack-o'-lantern and Howl, Jack-o'-lantern and Candy Apple, Jack-o'-lantern and Vampire Fangs. Like, there's so many combos. Ooh, Jack-o'-lantern with Vampire Fangs, a little bit of Wicked in the inner corner, maybe some Cemetery to blend it out, and then do Trick or Treat and Deadly on the lid together. That would be so freaking beautiful. I love this palette. It's really, really exciting, and so is this one. I cannot wait to see what Angelica comes out with Singe Beauty. So far, I've been obsessed with those blushes, but I want an eyeshadow palette. I'm so excited for that. But this is another one that excited me a whole lot. Out of the 2, the Trick or Treat is my favorite personally, but I think this one is beautiful too. And it's a little shocking that this one isn't my favorite because purple and blue are one of my favorite colors to wear together, but it's the color story that she chose for this. The undertones of the colors, I think, was genius. She is really good at picking out color stories, like really, really good. I've recently been thinking about that, like what I would pick, which I've never really, I mean, I have, but I've never thought about it seriously, like it would ever be an option. But now I'm kind of like, maybe one day it might be. So I've been thinking of like a Phoenix themed palette. I think that would be really cool. And like, there's so many different color stories you could take that in. I mean, you could do the obvious like fire colors, but if you go look at like Phoenix tattoos, there's like all kinds of different other colors. It could be really fun. But let me know what you think of that. But I would like to start playing around with color stories because it's fun. Plus, I could draw inspiration like for you guys, for my videos, for all that, with all that stuff too. But these are my 2 favorite Odin's Eye palettes at the moment. We have the Christmas Eve. I love this palette so freaking much. I lost my mind. It's so beautiful. This color story is like one of my favorites in my collection. I wish they would bring it back. They should make it permanent with as many people that wanted this freaking palette. It's so good, but these 2 together blew my mind. There's so many different fun combos here, like especially with the gray. You could do the gray with any one of these shades. Like the warms with the cool tones is really, really cool too. If you have never tried that, highly recommend. But I would say out of this palette, my favorite combo is this shade. This one in the inner corner, this one on the lid, and let's see, oh, the shifts in that are gorgeous. And Night Sky in the crease to deepen up. blend it out with Nightfall. I think those would be beautiful. I love Blue Star down here as well. I wonder if I even showed you guys this palette that whole time. Sorry if I did not. I get so excited when I talk about eyeshadow. It's my favorite thing ever. But then we have this palette, and it's so beautiful. I said that this didn't really look like Christmas to me, and someone said like the antique Christmas, royal Christmas, and I totally see that now. I see it every time I look at it. At the time, I saw it as fall, which it would totally work for fall. I actually probably should have brought this out for that fall video, but this is such a freaking blast. I love this color story so much. I've created so many fun looks with this one. I do have videos up with these two. I do the ones from Angelica as well. They're just like voiceover videos, and I feel like these videos would probably be better, but this palette is beautiful. I love this shade right here, Elf Wish. It's got that orange like fiery flip to it, and it makes Best Wish, Hot Cocoa, Gingerbread, and Poinsettia all work well with this shade. Like, you could pair all those together and then put this on the lid. Maybe even use a little bit of Little Star, or this one, All Nights, or Santa Star. That one would be really pretty too. There's a lot of fun goodness in here. So if you have it, I recommend pulling it out because it's stunning. I wish I had time to pull my stuff out more. This is like exciting for me because I get to look at them. That's why I love doing a lot of videos and stuff like this. Ooh, I have some from BLENDBUNNY as well. I just got the collection with BLENDBUNNY and Robert Welsh, and I'm excited to dig into that really soon. But for this video, I had to bring out two of my favorite palettes. My favorite is this one. I love this palette. I'm so in love with it. These are my favorite shimmers that I've picked up from them. They are so beautiful. These two shades, When It Rains and Love Letters. There's like so much feeling and heart in this palette to me. The names and everything, it's so beautiful. And I think this was a very beautiful tribute that she did for her parents, but this was a fun palette to create looks with. I got overwhelmed trying to figure out what I wanted to do more, and I just had such a blast. I will say this row right here with When It Rains goes so freaking well with Remorse, and if you haven't tried it, you should. But look at those shimmers down there. They are just everything. They make me so excited. And then I had to mention the Ellis palette. I know it's a coffee table, and I know that it's a rainbow palette, but this is one of the most perfect curated rainbow palettes I have ever seen, because it's so much more than that. The undertones in this palette are so freaking fantastic. And not even just that, those shimmers in this center row right here are freaking insane. When I look at this palette, I get hella overwhelmed because there's so much that I want to do with it. I love these undertones, especially like of this top row and the second one. Oh my god. Oh, this shade right here, Eternal, is so beautiful. Specimen and Cosmic are so pretty together. But this palette is so fantastic. So beautiful. So it's another one. I had to mention it. But let's move on to the rest of these palettes. We still got quite a few to go through. The next one I want to mention is the Blooming Basket by DEDE Signature. Let me tell you, if you have been like into any of her color stories and you've been holding off, I'm gonna tell you right now, don't, because they are so freaking good. I love this color story so much, like with my whole entire heart. I think it's so beautiful. There's so many fun combos within this palette. Like the Peonies Berry Bowl would be so beautiful together. But one of my favorites is this row right here, and Collecting Basket to deepen it up. I think I called it Blooming Baskets. It's Blooming Baskets. I keep doing that. I don't know why. but this is such a fun color story. I created so many fun looks with it, and it's one that I think about often, and it's one that makes me really excited for the brand. I did pick up the Plume collection that she did with Makeup on Your Radar, and I have not got to use it yet. So if you guys are interested in maybe some type of a video, we could do a bingo or something, let me know in the comments down below. So I also had to mention this palette from Cleona. This color story is so freaking fantastic, so gorgeous and perfect. This shade, oh my god, and this one Bioluminescence, look at those. They are so incredible. We're going to a Cyndi Lauper concert the beginning of November, and I'm thinking this might be a really good palette for this, especially that like orange pink shade. But do you see that? So freaking incredible. Oh, I love this palette. It has one of those color stories that I see so many different fun looks. I had so much fun creating looks with this. My only beef with this palette is the mattes do get a lot of kick up in the pan, so I would recommend doing your eyes first, but I had no issues with blending or longevity or anything like that, so I highly recommend. But just keep that in mind. If you're someone that really doesn't like the kick up, then you might not get along with that palette very well. So this next brand, there were a few here that it was kind of hard to dwindle down, but I managed to pick 4 of my absolute favorite Unearthly palettes, and these aren't just favorites because I have a lot of favorite Unearthly palettes, a lot. I can't help it. It is what it is. But these ones are those color stories again that just excite me, and I see so many different fun looks. And let's talk about this one. So this one I actually got in PR, which was like a freaking dream come true. I love Unearthly Cosmetics. They're one of my top favorite brands of all time. I could not recommend them more, but this palette just blew me away. These 2 shades make me so happy. Like, you could do fire looks, sunset looks, easy, simple looks like glowing it with bright in the crease, maybe a little scald out to give you just a little bit of definition, but that would be such a quick, fun look. This palette is so freaking stunning. I had such a great time with it. The looks that I created were so good. And one of them, Amanda, had someone draw, and she like sketched it with a pencil, and it's so beautiful. She gave it to me as a birthday gift, which was so sweet, but I really love that look too, but it makes me happy that she loved it as well. But I think this is beautiful. If you guys know anything about me, you know I love a fiery eye. So when I saw this one, it blew my mind. There's like so many different pairings within this palette as well, like bright in the inner corner, feverish in the outer corner. Again, you could do glowing on the lid, or you could do muggy. You could make it like sultry, like deepen it up with just a little bit of the brightness to add a little bit of brightness and depth to the look. I just think it's so beautiful. This one might be my favorite. I love this palette so much. It's so beautiful. I don't know what my favorite is at the moment, to be honest. Devour has been my favorite for a really long time. I really love Daily Grind as well, and the Lure, but this color story is another one of those color stories that just inspires so much, and it's so beautiful. The shimmers paired with these mattes make this such a fantastic palette. And when you look at the shimmers swatched out, they are so glossy and just gorgeous. I did not own the original Don't Be Jelly, but I'm really happy that I own this one. Like, when you look at the shimmers, it shows you, like, what things look really good together. These two shades with Sea Urchin in the outer corner. Seafoam with Sea Star is beautiful. Seafoam with Sea Urchin. And, again, with Lagoon. There's so many different combos. This is such a fun palette. I've had so much fun with it. Looking at it right now, I just want to do these four. Maybe deepen up the outer corner with that. I think it would be such a beautiful look. I think I have a look on my channel with this, but I played with it a lot off camera. I bought it over the summer, and it was released this summer of 2023, I believe. So I was a little late to that palette, but I had FOMO over that so bad. And now that I have it in my hands, I can totally say it was for good reason, because that palette is fantastic. But I have two more palettes from Unearthly, and it's these. I love these palettes. I really love the ones like this as well, but I love these also. They are super fun. The Gargoyle I did get in PR. This color story is so freaking fantastic. I fell so in love with this. I got this palette at the same time I got the Bella Beauty Bar Poison Garden, and I had such a blast with both of them. I couldn't figure out which one I liked more, but unfortunately I'm gonna have to figure it out this month, because I'm getting ready to do my October ranking in like a week or so, and that's going to be a difficult video. But I love this palette. Grim Morning with Sinister Figure and Guardian on the lid, or you can do those two mattes with Mystic Stone. Grim Morning and Veil is really pretty. Eerie Echoes on the lid with those two is gorgeous. I really love the looks that I created with this one. It's just a really, really fun palette. A really gorgeous color story. And they have one of the smoothest shimmer formulas that I've ever felt. Like, look at those. But they are so smooth and silky. You know, they're not flaky or anything like that, or too emollient. So if you are someone who does deal with a lot of creasing and stuff, this is a brand I really think you will love, especially if you pick up all of their like new formulated palettes, which are everything that's been released, I think, since Don't Be Jelly. Highly recommend. All of the palettes shaped like this, and I know they've reformulated a few of the older ones as well. And I picked up the Not Normal, the remastered version. I am so excited for that palette. It's the same size as this one. And they've been sneak peeking their holiday release. And there's a vampire on the front. So I am totally down for that. Okay, so the next brand is Adept Cosmetics. I don't have very many Adept palettes. I think I have 4 or 5, but I love them all very, very much. One of my favorites, I mentioned this in a lot of videos, it's the Heather Austin palette. I think she did such a fantastic job, and the reason why I think I get overwhelmed with this one is because not only do I love the 4 mattes that she chose, but there are so many different directions that you can take this palette because of the shimmers, and I want to put them all on. They are all like so crazy beautiful. I cannot stand how dirty this is. I gotta wipe it off. But they are all so crazy beautiful that you literally want to use them all. And like I said, each one changes the look so drastically. I just could not recommend it more. It is so freaking beautiful. I think it's still available. I have Pan in this shade and this shade, but it's so freaking gorgeous. Like, you could do really smoky looks. This shade right here, Video Chat, is so beautiful. You could go full on fall. You could do a little bit of Atlas in the crease, and then one of these shimmers on the lid if you want to do something like effortless and easy and quick. I like those kind of looks too sometimes. But one of my favorite palettes from them is the Amy Loves palette. I love the packaging. It's so glittery and beautiful. And I know I've had people concerned that this would scratch up their other palettes, but I don't see any scratches on this one at all. And this is leather, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. But this color story is so freaking fantastic. I love it so much. I think she did such a great job. This is a palette that I want to pull out and use as soon as possible. I was so blown away by this. There are 5 mattes in this one, and I do prefer like a more equal shimmer to matte ratio, but the shimmers in this palette are so spectacular. Like, and I do have a decent sized collection, so it's nothing for me to be able to bring something else in. But let me just swatch some of these shimmers. Jesus, like, look at that. It's so insane. I love them. Oh my god, like, she did such a freaking great job. And what a dream brand to collab with. They obviously were like a match made in heaven. And this is another one that I'm glad I picked up. This is the same I said with Heather Austin. You could do those quick one and done looks with this one as well. Or you can go full on dramatic, which is what, you know, I love very, very much. It's so beautiful. So this is my newest one from Adept, and this one was a lot more affordable because I think there's like one duochrome, but majority of these shades are metallics, but these are so high impact shine, so freaking gorgeous. I love this color story so much. I had so much fun creating looks with it. It's so much more than what actually meets the eye, and I truly could not recommend it more, so I really had to mention it. But it is beautiful. I was really excited when I got that one as well. There are palettes in this video that excite me just a little more, but that one was gorgeous. I had to mention it. Okay, so next, we have to talk about one of my favorite brands, and it's Gourmande, girls. I have 5 palettes here that I'm excited to share with you. I do have a code with them as well, and it's also AOML. All of my codes are. Actually, the next 3 brands I have a code with, and they're all AOML. So I'm excited to show you these. I love this palette, the Paradise Cove. This came in the Ice Cream Beauty box. Shout out to my friend Mel for telling me about it, because I fell so in love with this color story. It is so freaking beautiful. I love it so much. She's actually supposed to be sending me some other of the older palettes, and I'm so excited. What's the one, Pixie Grove? That one has been living in my mind rent-free since the day she released it, and I at the time couldn't pick it up, but it's so beautiful. But I love this color story. I was so excited. I love the looks that I created. I do have a video on this. I think they were so fantastic. There's so many awesome pairings in this as well. This shade right here with either one of those shades, I mean, come on. Oh, these 3 are so good together as well. These 3, you could also like take the rose this way. Like, don't always, I try not to always put the obvious colors together. You can tend to accidentally make things monochromatic. I mean, if that's what you're going for, then, I mean, that would make sense. I love a good monochromatic look every now and again as well, but sometimes you should just look for the most weird pairing. Like I said in the beginning of this video, find a way to make them work. And I love those too, because those are perfect for that kind of look. You could even deepen it up with the shade Far Away. That way you could make it like more smoky and then do this shimmer metallic on the lid. It's so freaking beautiful. I have makeup wipe remover on my hand, so it struggled there for a minute, but look at the shine on that. It has like a little bit of a purple duochrome flip to it. It's so beautiful. I just love it. It's one of my favorite palettes. Well, it was, till I got some other ones that I'm about to show you. So these 2 have not been in my collection very long, but I have done looks with both of them. I did pick all of these up on my own as well. I haven't actually gotten PR from, yeah, I did. I got the Calavera palette, which is another really good one that I should have brought up in this video. I did get that one in PR. But I love these 2, and I need Spooked in my life so bad. She said she wanted to restock it for Halloween, but she's not able to get it until the beginning of the year. But like I told her, I don't care. I just want it. That color story is so fantastic. But let's not let that take away from this one. This was a collab with Doodles by the Bunny, who I do follow on Instagram, and she is so creative and talented when it comes to color combos. Like, this palette still needs some more love because, like I said, it is relatively new in my collection, but come on, these colors are so freaking good together. There's so many different types of looks. You could totally take this cool tone. You could do cool tone with a pop of warm tone. Oh, it's so fantastic. The shimmers in here are so beautiful as well. I really want to swatch this shade. I have not even... Oh yeah, I used this in the last look that I did. It's so freaking shimmery and so pretty. I love it so much. And I mean, the obvious pairing would be the greens, but this would be really purple with really pretty with the purple as well, because it does have like that really pretty like cool tone purple shift. I don't know if that's showing up or not. I'm getting tongue-tied and everything, but this palette is so fantastic, so freaking gorgeous. I'm so happy to have it. I love the shape of these as well, but obviously next we're going to be talking about the Nightshade. These two go so freaking well together. They're like a match made in heaven. Let me get it in frame, but they are so beautiful. I have used this one quite a bit, actually. This one needs more love, but I have used this one quite a few times, and I love it. These two shades together, Henbane and Woody, is really beautiful. Actually, I made a really cool look on, and I put a video up on Instagram. My aunt actually told me today that she literally gasped when she saw it because she was shocked, which is like the greatest compliment ever, but just thought I'd throw that out there. But these two in the crease would also be beautiful. Maybe blend that purple out with Belladonna because it's like that perfect cool tone pastel purple, and then Poisonous on the lid, even a little bit of Night Fury like towards the end. You could even add a little more pizzazz with one of these gorgeous purples, maybe this one because it is cool tone, or you could add a little shine to it with this one. But I love this palette. I think it's so beautiful. My hand's a little sticky from this makeup wipe, but it's so fun. This is the palette that made me really love Gourmande Girls, pulled me in. It was the second palette that I picked up from them. The first was Silent Night, and I love that one, but the color stories of the ones that I'm mentioning are my absolute favorites, and this was a collab with Steff's Beauty Stash, and we have the NUEVA VIDA. This palette is so freaking stunning. I really hope that orange is coming off neon true to color, but this palette blew my freaking mind. I had so much fun. These two shades together are so good. These two with the little bit of H2O and that on the lid, so freaking good. Or H2O in the crease, deepened up with Dr. Farr and Vacay All Day on the lid. Maybe even a little bit of Dreamer like on the inner corner. Those are freaking gorgeous. Like, I love looking at the shimmers and looking at their flip and then trying to pair those two types of colors together. It's so fun. I love this shade mixed with Dr. Farr as well. This shade with Keep Moving. Steph from Steff's Beauty Stash did a great video on this palette explaining the shade names and everything. I really loved it. She did such a great job, but they both did such a fantastic job on this one. This is one of my absolute favorite palettes in my whole entire collection. This color story was so perfect, so genius, and I don't have anything else like it. It's the perfect peach, or peach perfect. I always say it backwards. Freaking dyslexia gets me every time, but I am so obsessed with this palette. I love the video that I did with it, creating looks. There's a short I did to Miranda Lambert's song, and it's so good. It's on Instagram. It's a transition video. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's so freaking awesome. I always have like all my socials linked down below in the description box, but This color story is so perfect. This shade right here, Fuzzball, is like this gorgeous deep green metallic. It does have like a slight bluish shift to it, very, very slight, but it has the most teeny tiny glitters of peach in it. It's better like up close. You just have to like see for yourself. I'm trying to black my face out so it will stop blurring. Like, I don't know if I can get it to pick up, but you just have to take my word for it. You know, like what a holographic looks like? It's like that, but it's not rainbow glitters. It's peach. It's so beautiful. But so many of the shimmers in this palette are just so freaking perfect. I love the looks I did. You could like do something really, you could do something kind of deserty, which is what I did. I did these two in the crease. I don't remember what I used exactly to deepen it up with, but you have to go check out my video because I think I did such an amazing job. And if you love these two colors, I cannot tell you enough. This palette is so freaking good. And they're price range is really good too as well, especially considering how freaking fantastic this formula is. But like I said, this is one of my top favorite palettes of all time. So the next one is Bella Beauty Bar. Like I mentioned, I do have a code. It's the same. But let's talk about these palettes. Listen, I could have put every one of their palettes in here. This is one of my top favorite brands of all time. Like a lot of these are actually that I mentioned in here. But this palette, this is a new palette, and I am so in love with this palette. It is so much more beautiful in person. Oh my god, it's so freaking incredible. I love it so freaking much. When I did my Halloween giveaway, I was hoping someone would ask for it, but nobody did. I just want you guys to experience it. It's so freaking wonderful. Oh, it makes me so happy. There's so many fun color combos in this palette. It's so fantastic. The shimmers. The shimmers are what makes it so possible to pair things together, like these two, that with that, and this on the lid, or you could do this on the lid, or you could put this in the outer part. This shade with this shade goes so well with this one. Like, come on, it makes me want to scream. Oh my god, I just love this palette. And I love like that deep base that it has. It's kind of like a blue-gray, but do you see like that really pretty pink to gold shift? It makes it go so well with that that purple shade Hellbore and Latana or Bloodroot, which is that orange one. It's just so freaking stunning. This palette is so perfect. It's one of my absolute favorites. If you asked me what my favorite palette was, this would definitely be in the running for that. It's so beautiful. Wolfsbane is a really pretty hollow as well. Wisteria is freaking insane. Literally, oh my god, it's so good. It's the most like radioactive, bright, beautiful shade I have ever seen. It makes me so happy. So lastly, I gotta talk about these two. This was one of my first palettes from them, and it's what made me really want to try more from the brand, and I'm so glad that I bought this because this palette is so freaking incredible. Such a fun color story. Really takes you out of the box. I love like this cool tone down here. It's like a purplish gray. It's so beautiful, or cool tone purple. But these three together, or Coven with Grimoire and Rusting Witch Face, is so pretty. That's one of my favorite shades in the palette as well. So is Hocus Pocus. It's so beautiful. It's just, it's perfect. It makes me so freaking happy. But they did a huge restock recently and restocked a lot of their palettes that have been out of stock for a while, like the Ultraviolet. I know a bunch of you guys wanted that one, so I thought I would just let you know. But this is one of my favorites as well. It was my favorite until I got the Poison Garden, and oh, this one's so beautiful. I picked up Basic Witch and I couldn't afford to buy both, so this one hasn't been in my collection very long, just since the summer. but I quickly became really excited about this palette. This is another one of those. I see so many combos. I did a look with, I'm pretty sure it was Authenticity and Energy Vampire, and I also put Monetize in the crease as well, and that look was so freaking good. I did Authenticity in the beginning, like the inner part of the crease, and then I did Monetize. I deepened up with Energy Vampire, and I put this gorgeous shade on the lid. It's so stunning. And I did a little bit of Viral as well, and that look was one of my favorites. I love it. They're both beautiful. I actually think I did Screenshot instead of Depleted. Depleted is the darker one, but I think I did this one actually on the lid. It's like a purple to green shift. I don't know. I'll have to go back and look at my photos and stuff, but it's so stunning. Okay, now I'm cleaning off my hand, but we are finally down to the last four, and it's Ensley Rain. I love Ensley Rain. Listen, this is another one. I could have put every freaking palette I own from Ensley Rain in this little thing. I really could have. I mean, I do have some that I haven't used enough, like Cold Moon being one, but I could have. I love this freaking brand. So let's start with one of my newer palettes. Lands of Enchantment. I've wanted this one for a minute, but oh my god, this is so freaking insanely good. I talked about this in a video I recently did where I swatched all the shimmers from Bella Beauty Bar and Ensley Rain and talked about why I love those brands so much. But if you guys are interested, you could totally check that out and see like full swatches of everything. Well, full shimmer swatches. I love their mattes too, but the shimmers are just where it's at. This one has like this mint base, but it has this pink shift. These two with maybe this one or this one in the inner corner, and then you could put this on the lid. It's so freaking stunning. It makes me so happy. I want to play with this palette more. I definitely need to. It's so beautiful. It makes me so happy, but you could totally see what I mean. Let me swatch out these mattes and show you. Ooh, and we'll do a little bit of Divine Light as well, because it's got that beautiful green sparkle. So you could put that in the inner corner, but do you see how beautiful those two would be together? Honestly, the pink would be good as well, or the purple. So you could use like one of those light purples in the outer part of the eye and blend it out with one of the pinks, and then do the mint shades on the inner corner with these two on the lid. You cannot tell me that would not be the most gorgeous freaking combo. I just love this palette. It's so fun and inspiring to me. I've had such a good time with it, and it's one that I definitely want to play with again, and I mean really soon. It's so beautiful. Let me know if you guys own this one. This one is really new to my collection as well, and it is the Harvest Moon. I bought this on recommendation from a couple of you guys, and for a really good reason. This palette is so spectacular. One of the things that I really love about Poison Garden from Bella Beauty Bar is those deep shades. They're like special shades though, and this one has a few of those as well. It also has some fantastic holochromes, but it's these deep shades that really inspire me a lot, which, I mean, these are just two of many to be fair, but these are so freaking good. And when you see the flips of them, I can see like pairings with the flips. I don't know if I can get them to pick up with my lighting, but we will try. It's hard to tell because all I have is my viewfinder, but this one is like a deep red with a like dark forest green. So maybe not even red. You could totally do spooky season with hibernate. Those would be such gorgeous combos as well. And then you have this one down here, which hibernate and pumpkin patch would be beautiful with. Actually, let's swatch that. I just saw the best combo, or at least what I think might be a really good one. So we would do pumpkin patch, which is this orange, on the inner part of the eye, and then hibernate in the outer corner. I just love colors like this together. I think they are so freaking gorgeous. So like, look at those together. So fun, so fall. And then I would do, which one? That's a hard choice. Yeah. Okay, I would do a sparkling cider on the outer half of the lid. I can't even talk straight today. It is late, in all fairness. But it has like this gorgeous purple shift, which I feel like brings more fun to the look as well. But then, I mean, who could pass up the opportunity to use this shade right here, Tombstone? That's like one of my favorite shades in this palette. It's so vibrant and beautiful. It makes me so happy. It's so beautiful. And then if you want a little brightness in your inner corner, I mean, that orange is bright, but maybe you need something a little lighter. So I would totally go into this shade, Foliage, which is like a gold with the most beautiful orange glitters in it. It's like an orange leaning gold. It's so pretty. And then there's like a freaking gorgeous color story. It's so beautiful. And you know, if you like blend this orange out enough, you can lighten it up and then just really pack this color on to try to get it as deep as possible if you want a like contrasty look, kind of like what I have on now. Let me actually put the green on top of this and see if we can build this up. So yeah, that green totally builds up as well, so you could really add a lot more depth. I really want to do this look. Let's get it up close. It's so pretty. If you have this palette, do it for me and let me know if it works out, if I was right. But I think those would be really beautiful. Obviously, you could not let that green and orange touch. But what I like to do, if you're new here and you haven't seen a lot of my videos, I like to take the deeper color first and then I'll put in the lighter color. And instead of blending them together, I blend the purple like up and over the green, like how I did in this look. So I would just blend the orange up and over the green in that look and try to get it as soft as you can and like deepen it up towards the crease, and I think it would totally work. But I love that palette and I hope I gave you guys some inspiration with those. But the last two I want to talk about, these. They're so good. Oh, I can't stand it. They're so good. I actually have another new palette from them. It's the Underland palette, and that one probably should have been in this video, but it's already so long, and I already mentioned so many palettes, but that's a little shout out for that one. But this one is so freaking good. Oh, I love it so much, and this is another one. I saw so many different pairings. I could not decide. Flicker with Wisp and Echo is perfect. Wisp with Serenity and Magic Moss was perfect. I did Orchid Orange with Wisp in the outer corner and Echo. I'm pretty sure I did Orchid Orange with the two greens as well. And the shimmers. Oh my god, the shimmers. They're so good. See, it's like that gray blue base. It's so freaking pretty. I love it so much. But when you look at this, it makes it hard not to see like how well that Peach Pop shade, the peach one, with this cool tone green, they go so well together. and the shimmer like brings them together so perfectly. You could even do orchid orange with flicker and deepen up with echo and put this on the lid. Like, in every one of these shimmers are so freaking good and inspiring in that way, which is why I love this palette. And it's the same reason why I love this one. This is the Flourish. These two came out at the same time, but these shimmers are so freaking spectacular and very flutter. This is one of my favorites. I love this so much. I love that these two palettes pair so freaking well together. But look at that one. It's so beautiful. That is the shade Berry Flutter. I'm pretty sure I said that, but just in case I did not, I'm gonna throw that out there. So this shade right here with Flourish would be so pretty with Fairy Flutter as well. But these three right here go so well together too. There's so many options in here. Such a fun palette. Honestly, I could get a summer look, a spring look, and a fall look out of this palette if I was someone who only did my makeup like by the seasons. But I am not. But those are two of my top favorite palettes in my collection as well. Like, that list is not short. There's probably, I have like maybe 20 top favorites. I would have to go through my collection. You guys will have to let me know if you ever want to see that video. I mean, you could probably guess what my top favorites are by watching all of these videos in this little series. But that is it, guys. These are the palettes in my collection that really just excite me. They make me excited to create looks with them. I feel the most inspired by these palettes. I mean, I know it's a lot, but like I said, indie brands are freaking killing it. This year has been so good. There are so many good releases. It makes it really hard to keep up for anyone. And, you know, I struggle sometimes. And it's a good problem to have. I just love them so much. Makeup really does make me happy. It brings me so much joy, and it makes me happy that I found you guys as well, because now I have somebody that gets excited for it too, and I have someone to share it with, and that just is everything. But I can't wait to hear what your favorite palettes are. Do we have any in common? Do any of these palettes excite you in the same way that they excite me? I would love to hear your thoughts. But thank you guys so much for watching this video all the way to the end. And if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, bye.